When I was 16 years old and a hospital volunteer, I was filling a patient's water pitcher, and his two visitors, two older men who I remember as wearing denim overalls, asked me a question. "So are you doing this because you want to be a nurse?" I replied, "No, actually I'm planning to be a cultural anthropologist like Margaret Mead." They were quiet for a moment. Then they burst out in uproarious laughter. Like it was hard for them to breathe, they were laughing so hard. "Oh, you're gonna be a secretary and then get married and have babies. Ah!" I glared at them and walked out of the room, laughter still going on. I knew they were wrong. Two old guys in overalls? Like, what the heck? Like, telling me what I wasn't going to be capable of doing? I would definitely be going to college and graduate school and pursue a profession, right? That wasn't the last time I heard that kind of laughter. Times when I made a statement about my goals that didn't jive with someone else's experience of how I should be. How a woman, or as time went on, a woman of my age, should be. When I was 50, my little one headed to college, and I was looking to move east and pursue my rabbinic career full-time. I had a couple of Jewish professionals literally laugh at the idea that I would think a woman of my age would get a rabbinic or Jewish educational position of any kind, either with a synagogue or a Jewish day school. Unfortunately, there is never a shortage of people who are ready and willing to mock you, to mock who you are and how you're working toward living your best life. And as someone who has been on the receiving end of such treatment, I know this kind of derisive laughter does introduce a sense of self-doubt, regardless of how ignorant the laughers might be. So I strive to be someone who never inflicts this kind of mean-spirited doubt on the self-understanding of others. Demeaning the experiences and the identities of others goes completely against our Jewish value of B'Tselem Elohim, the understanding that each unique human being is created in a godly image. The Jewish idea, going back to the earliest chapters of our Torah, the very beginning of Genesis, that every individual contains an element of holiness within them and must be treated with both kavod, respect, and chesed, compassion. This includes people we know and people we don't know, people we might feel great similarity to, and those who we find to be quite different from ourselves. We celebrate this Jewish ideal at this TBO Inclusion Shabbat, a celebration that takes place within Pride Month. Pride Month is an international celebration focusing on all those who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, people who have often been greeted with scornful laughter about who they are. On this Shabbat, we take the time to reflect on our own behavior toward those who self-identify in ways we may not personally relate to or even totally understand. Part of living the Jewish value of B'Tselem Elohim is understanding that each one of us is responsible for offering respect, care, and openness to someone else's experience, even if our own life experience has been different. We know there are women of all ages who look to pursue fields or interests that are less traditional for women to pursue. We don't mock them. We support them so they can be their best selves. We know there are men of all ages who who look to pursue fields or interests that are less traditional for men to pursue. We don't mock them. We support them so they can be their best selves. We know there are people who are attracted to and form romantic relationships with people of a different sex, of the same sex, who have had relationships with both. We don't mock them. We support them so they can be their best selves. We know there are people who know at their core that they are not the sex that they match with biologically. We don't mock them. We support them so they can be their best selves. As Jews, we have known for thousands of years that a better world for all of us is built upon this basic value, upholding the holiness and the dignity of every human being. Let us go out and live it. In just a moment, we will celebrate the women of our congregation who will lead our Temple Beth Orr sisterhood in the coming year. Our sisterhood is part of the national organization, the Women of Reform Judaism, an organization whose mission is to strengthen the voice of women worldwide and empower them to create caring communities, nurture congregations, and cultivate personal and spiritual growth. The Women of Reform Judaism, the WRJ, mobilizes collective action on a variety of causes to create a just and compassionate world for all people of all backgrounds and identities. Our theme this evening of inclusion is a perfect blend with sisterhood, an organization that has long served to build a sense of community among Jews of all ages and backgrounds and interests as a model of respect and diversity.